Justin of Heshy show. I'm standing in front of Columbia University, the most anti-Semitic school in New York City, where a bunch of Palestinians protested for many months and tried to take away our university. Today we're here trying to memorialize the murder, rape, and killing and kidnapping of many Jews and many people across Israel on October the 7th. We're trying to get in, to get to the memorial, but of course this wacko university doesn't let us in. I don't know why, with all the cops that are spending my taxpayer money to protect whatever. Watch my show, as when I become city councilman, this is one of the first places that loses their parking, loses their privileges, loses every single dollar that this city gives them. Heshy Tishler here. As I tried to get in, I couldn't get in because I'm not a Palestinian. But since I'm a Jew, they won't let me in. Watch my show Wednesday night as I make sure to tell you all about Columbia and what we're going to do to them when I become city councilman. Vote for me in that special election. Wonderful lady gave me her flag. I owe her $1, but I'm broke because Columbia University supports the Palestinians.
Wednesday night, we're all in sight. 9 o'clock, it's shining bright. Turn the dial and feel the might. Just enough Heshy takes flight.
Hello everybody, and welcome to another Just Enough Heshy show. Welcome my Instagram fans. You missed our introduction video music. I'm sorry. We're still practicing on how to get you that music. It's really a great song. But if you listen to the YouTube version or whatever of the show or the later Instagram version about how you'll hear the song better. Welcome my YouTube and Facebook fans. We are going to discuss tonight so many different things that we just had October the 7th, and my introduction video showed me standing in front of Columbia University. They had the memorial, but they only let certain amount of people in. But if you're a Palestinian or some kind of crazy protester, you can get in and stand over there and scream and holler. And we tried to get in for the memorial, something quiet and calm. They wouldn't let us in. And of course, I stood outside of this bigoted, anti-Semitic school. I mean, I can't get over what Columbia has done. And I'm telling them, and I'm warning them, I'm city councilman. I know you might not think you're part of the city, but there's so many things that we can do to you that we will take care of business with you. That I promise you. That I promise you well. And all week long, people have been calling me, what do you think about October the 7th? I had some friends that were there when Iran sent those bombs over from America. I have relatives over there, those missiles or whatever it is. And we're going to talk about how Biden and France says we can't retaliate. But then the Canadian opposition leader, he says, yeah, let's go after Iran. But, that's his thing because he's the opposition leader and he wants to get the Jew money in the vote. Will he switch his mind when he gets elected? Like any of those leaders, you know how the same way Biden and Harris, they 1 minute they're your friend, the next minute they are not. In America today, you're right, we're open-minded. You're right that we have a right to decide anything we want. They have polls. This guy who's running for vice president now, he says, well, we should get rid of the electoral college and go with the popular vote. But that's how Harris and Biden got in with the electoral college. Now you want to switch it because you'll be the more popular vote because Trump has a chance of beating you? And the polls are stating, 50-50 chance. Of course, 50-50 chance. You have 50% Democrats, 50% Republicans in this country. So you win with those really independents or those people who switch the sides. Everybody has some kind of gimmick in this country, and the crime in New York City that we're going to talk about. I have friends that are buying guns. I'm going to tell you about the crimes just alone this week. My own son, who I'm against guns, not that I'm against guns, that the Second Amendment, that you can't have it. I'm against guns in the way that I'm scared to have one. I'm actually scared because I'm not qualified to hold a gun, even though I was told when I was down in Florida to do it. And he got one. I was against it. And I told him I think it's a bad thing because a mistake could happen. You always have to be prepared for the worst. You always have to be prepared for a mistake. And if I know that I'm going to make a mistake, or people say to me, "Heshy, you never tried drugs. Why or why don't you do drug or check it out?" Because I know that I have my issues, and I know that I would be addicted, or I have a very addictive personality. When I had the food problem and the smoking problem, I know that I would take it to the next level. So you have to be prepared. You have to use your brain. You have to use your mind. You have to use your intelligence, to see to make yourself better. People are telling me, first of all, I want to welcome all of our listeners from WNSR 620 AM radio. Too bad you missed our music and our introduction video. Welcome to the show, WNEW FM HD3. Welcome to my show. Of course, my YouTube friends who joined us right now. I like to mention them out. Natasha, I love you, Natasha. Benny. Where are you, Benny? I think you missed you this weekend. You didn't come. I missed you. I went away. Right. I'm going to tell you about my story in a minute. Black Beauty, how are you, beautiful lady? I want to tell you something. By the way, I went away last week. As you know, we had the Jewish holiday of Rosh Hashanah, the New Year, and Linda hasn't been so well, my beautiful wife. And so I told her, let's go to Florida. She says, no, Heshy, I don't want to fly on a plane. I'm all nervous. I'm crazy. So I said to her, Linda, we got to go. I need a break. The election is coming. I need to get away. The business is very busy. A lot of people are in trouble. I'm working too many hours. Come on, we never get 3-4 days off. Let's go to Florida. And I've been telling her we're going. Finally, she agrees. She says, hey, Heshy, I'm willing to go away with you for the 3 days, but only upstate. I said, okay. I packed her bags. We're ready to go. And by the way, my car, all of a sudden, me and Linda were driving around. We parked it by my office. The brakes went dead. And then we found out afterwards somebody cut the wire, not the brakes. They said it was a rat. It wasn't a rat. We feel that somebody tried to kill me. But again, there's no evidence of that. Somebody cut my wires. And I took it to the dealer. And he says, well, somebody ripped it and part of it could be a rat. Okay. Well, maybe it's a human rat. So anyways, me and Linda, we get there, and I have a client that says, Heshy, I have a car down in Florida. Can you bring it back to me? I said, I'm driving to Florida. He says, I'll rent you a car. And he rents me this beautiful Wagoneer. So me and Linda get in the car. Linda doesn't know that we're going to Florida at all. I did not tell her. We get into the car and we're driving, and 3 hours later, Linda says, where are we? I said, well, we're getting close. 6 hours later, Linda says, this is too long, I said, we're in Richmond, Virginia. She says, what are we doing in Richmond? I said, we're going to Florida. Oh, did she give me hell. And 24 hours later, we were in Florida. I drove through the night. I had somebody else that came with me that had nowhere to go, and I said, come crash with me down in Florida. We went to Boynton Beach to my brother's house, beautiful, with a pool, and we relaxed. And we get down to Florida. Finally, she's happy. I think she forgave me because I packed her a beautiful picnic and dinner. We stopped in the south of the border for lunch. We stopped in when we entered Florida at 10 o'clock at night. We had a nice picnic dinner, and some people were hungry. We said, join us. I had so much food. So we get to Florida, and it's a couple of nice days, and Linda can't walk so far. The synagogue is 1.5 miles. And I said, okay, I got you a wheelchair. And Linda didn't want to get in the wheelchair. She didn't want nobody to see. I said, Linda, I'm pushing an empty wheelchair. It's stupid. She says, well, I'm walking slow. So we're walking, and halfway on, boom, a big thunderstorm comes. And we're just standing there. Not the hurricane. Thunderstorm. We're poured. We're soaking wet. There was water in my underwear and shoes. Linda was like really upset. And people were stopping on the highway trying to give us umbrellas, but we told them it's the new year. We can't take any umbrellas. And we kept walking. And finally, we saw a synagogue. And we walked in there. They were so nice to us. And they gave us towels, and they gave Linda a clean shirt. And then we took a garbage bag after prayers, and we went back. And Linda said, I'm not going back to synagogue anymore in these rains. But that was a funny thing that happened to us. So anyways, I drove Saturday night. We got in the car. We drove 22 and a half hours, and we made it back. We left Saturday night. We came back Sunday night. We had a great trip, and Linda's a little bit better, and she bought me a cowboy hat, if you saw my videos, and I told everybody I'm the new sheriff coming to town. She paid $69.95. I was in shock, because I was joking with her. I wanted the cowboy hat, and she actually bought me a nice cowboy hat, and I bought her a $12 T-shirt. I don't know. I was cheap. She didn't give me any money that week, and whatever. I used it on the gas. Anyways, we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff on the show. You can call into the show at 646-974-1580, 646-974-1580, and ask me anything you want. But we're going to talk about Biden and Harris and J.D. Vance and Trump and all that stuff, and New York City, and yes, about the feds raiding the mayor's office. What is going on here? Is he in trouble? Is he not in trouble? I've come to some conclusions, and I want to tell you what my ideas are, all right? And by the way, we're going to play a quick commercial for Green Line Building Compliance. That's my company, which today I did an inspection for somebody for 3 hours. While I'm there, I followed every rule. You know, I don't fail inspections. I'm very good. I do pre-inspections. I review the plans and so on. And the neighbor, this guy, a neighbor on Avenue M, he came out, a Jewish guy, and he starts screaming at the inspector, oh, the guy did illegal. I said, you know, you called 20-something times. You have this poor man out of his house for 4 years. I said, look what I have to do to help him. And I had to lend him money and help him get back into the house. The guy comes out and tells the inspector lies. And he says, look, they're extending the building. I said, this is an old garage that I built addition to the house, so I shouldn't have to be able to file plans for an addition. The existing envelope was here. And he was so jealous, and he called, and he started screaming, and I screamed back, and of course he can't beat me. Oh, Heshy Tishley, you think you're a tough guy? I said, no, I know the laws, I know the codes, I know my constitution. The inspector just agreed with me, and the guy ran in, and he lives at 2514 Avenue M, just a terrible, nasty rat. And before the holidays, he says, Rabbi David Cohen, this idiot, a rabbi on Coney Island Avenue, gave him permission to rat. Nobody has a permission to rat on a fellow Jew, a fellow human being. Yes, if he's a murderer, rapist, whatever, you can do stuff like that. But stupidity, ratting on somebody building his own house on his own property, ratting on somebody that's garbage is out today. I met a nice garbage man, and I jumped out of the car, and I took a video with me and him, and he thought I was videotaping him and showing me the signs. He's instructed to come after the neighborhoods. He's instructed to let people rat, and when they rat, he has no choice. He has to go to the place that people ratted on to verify and give a ticket. He doesn't want to do that. They're busy. They're busy, but they're busy instead of crime. You know, there's a story with a trooper. We're going to go back. Put that advertisement for Green Line Building Compliance. Green Line Building Compliance, I'm sorry, it's my company, 718-871-0382, 718-871-0382. Call me for building violations, stop work orders, vacate orders, anything that you want. We in the building department to fight the city, the HPD, the DOB, the DOT, the DOS. I help you with your violations against the banks and mortgages. I wish you would put that sign back up on the screen, but if not, 871-0382, 202 Foster Avenue. Come on down. You can ask me questions. We do constituent services, and we're all good to go. By the way, that's correct, Black Beauty. In Israel, I did have a gun. I did know how to handle it. I never said I never knew how to handle it. I never said that I didn't practice with guns when I was younger, but I don't like to own a gun or have one. I'm scared of it. I'm scared that I will make a mistake. Yes, under a controlled situation, on a field, you know how to handle it. You have professionals around you, and you're more alert. At home, you can forget, or you drop, or you fall asleep, or you're carrying it one day. I don't know. I get nervous of it, and I get nervous of making a mistake. I want to also talk about HeshyTishler.com. Election is getting close. The November 5th election is coming for all the local offices, for the president. I'm in with Trump all the way. Harris, I don't believe has a chance. I don't believe America is that stupid. I keep repeating it to you. But you never know. So HeshyTishler.com. I'm getting closer to my final goal. I can only spend a certain amount. I can only raise a certain amount. They are telling me Simcha Feld is going to run. The other competitors didn't join the race, but we'll all find out after the Sukkot holiday by either October 26th or November 5th who's going to jump in. But as of now, I'm running unopposed. But I know there's going to be a lot of people ready, and they're waiting for this guy, Simcha Felder, who's just out of it. He doesn't even act normal. He hasn't done anything for the city. And everybody's telling me, I met a guy who was building stairs yesterday, and he works like behind the scenes in politics. He says, Heshy, you have no chance. You ran so many times. Why do you keep running? Because I know how to get to the finish line. I know what it is to not make it the first 1, 2, 3, 4 times. I'm a player. I keep going. I have the energy. I'm not going to stop. And the same way when I help my clients. HeshyTishler.com. $10, $20, $25. I get you matching funds. Join me. Join me. Watch me win. Help me win, and you will see a different city. I know you think one guy can't do it, but you're wrong. Martin Luther King did do it. I'm not in the league of Martin Luther King. I'm not in the league of John F. Kennedy, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, Moses, Jesus, whatever you want to say. Those were special, powerful human beings. But I believe in them. I believe what they did was special. I believe that I've led a life of trying to do good. And I really believe that if I believe hard enough in God, like the rest of you, I believe that I will be directed and I can make a change. Anyways, here's my quote and thought of the day. Happiness is not by chance, but by choice. I am happy by choice. I've had a lot of bad things in my life, like everybody. Ups and downs and not well, not me, but and I've seen it. I've gone to mourning calls and burying of my Holy Mother, and there's been many sad days and good days. So I know that I'm happy, and I'm going to make myself happy by choice. And the courage to continue is what distinguishes success from failure. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. So you failed. I don't like to fail. I don't consider myself ever failing. I consider myself learning. Always in the learning process, always practicing. So when they come, I'm prepared. I'm prepared when the neighbor comes out to scream at me. I'm prepared when the cops come after me. There was a trooper and the Attorney General. I'm really not on the Attorney General Letitia James's side, especially what she did to Trump. Who's going to win his appeal? But she's going after a trooper. A lot of these cops, they're so arrogant, and a lot of them are great. But sometimes, especially these traffic cops, they got to make their tickets. And one trooper chased a black guy. Chased the guy, he pulled him over, and he started screaming at him and threatening him and telling him to get out of the car. And so the guy got nervous, and he had his wife and 2 daughters, and then he ran away. And because this guy was making him crazy, breaking the law, so he chased him with the car, and he rammed the car twice. High-speed chase, the car turned over, and the little girl died, Monica Woods. Now, the trooper got off stating, the guy rammed him. How do you know, how do a guy who's ahead of you ram you? And he lied, and he got off the hook, and now Letitia James is going after him, and they charged him again with murder. And they saw it. They saw it on the videos. They saw that he lied. But sometimes they're so busy with giving us tickets, with camera tickets, with garbage tickets, with violations, instead of helping us. Today I had an inspector that went out of his way. He said, I'm not giving you a violation. I want you to open this job. I see how hard it was. I see what the neighbor is. And he told us what to do. He instructed us. That is a good man. He wanted not only to do his job, but to make the site safe, but also to help the people. That's what you're supposed to do. A setback is a setup for a comeback. How do you like that one? And my final quote is, complaining about a problem without proposing a solution is called whining. And that's Theodore Roosevelt. I always try to come up with solutions. I always have ideas. And otherwise, complaining won't help. Here's my joke. I hope you like my joke. Yes, it's Linda. As me and Linda were arguing in the car going to Florida, Linda says, "Stop yawning. Why are you always yawning when we argue?" So I said, "Linda, I'm not yawning. I'm trying to speak." I mean, every time I open my mouth, she thought I was yawning, but and no words ever came out. That was funny. There's no way there's no laugh track on that. That was funny. We were when we got to south of the border. So I went into this rest area, and we were looking for a parking spot. It was busy, so we're driving slowly. And Linda looks out the window, and she says to somebody when we were searching for the open space, she says. She saw a couple, and she said, as we pulled up next to him, she says, "Are you going out?" And the people says, "No, we're just friends." That was funny. Come on, I laughed. I laughed at that joke when they told Linda that joke. They all smiled. Okay, no laugh track on that one. I don't like my producer anymore. What is going on with our mayor? I'll get to Trump. How everybody says that he set himself up. I swear to you, I watched a video of a reporter getting on the television saying Trump set himself up. He wasn't really shot. It was a fake assassination attempt. Not once, twice. It's nonstop. Steve Garvey, one of the best Dodger baseball players ever, he's now running against Adam Schiff. And he says to Adam Schiff, you're so consumed with getting Trump. You have 300 million people you lied to by impeaching him. You have millions of your own constituents that you have to be worried about, and all day long you're going after Trump. Trump is out, and you're still going after him. I hope Trump beats Adam Schiff. I hope he beats him. I hope Steve Garvey beats Adam Schiff. We got to get this out. We got to change the Senate. We got to change the Congress, even if it's for 2 years. We need everybody's worried, I'm leaving America if Harris is elected. They said it about Trump. They said it about Bush. They said it all. We're not leaving anywhere. You're not going anywhere. We need to make a change. We, the people, could do it. And a lot of the black voters today, I hear, are going to jump on Trump wagon. But a lot of people saying, no, the black voters are not going to vote because Harris is black. Are you joking? I understand black, white, you want to join teams, whatever it is. This is the presidency of the United States. You want to be prejudiced, you want to bring color or ethnicity into jobs or apartments or homosexuality, whatever you want to do. This is the presidency of the United States. That's somebody we need competent on the top. I don't care if you're black or white or Asian. We need somebody there. We have 2 choices now. We don't have 20 choices. There are other good choices, but they're not there. Which is the better choice? Trump is the better choice. Trump is not going to be a dictator. He has a record of 4 solid years. He's hired thousands of people. All of a sudden, you're trying to bring in a new narrative that he's going to be a dictator and take over the country. It's not possible. Putin even said, I might make a deal to stop the war in Ukraine. I promise you, if Trump is president, those Gazans and Hezbollah are going to run because Iran is going to be shaking in their pants and they're not going to get any more money. And you tell me, everybody. You tell me, 646-974-1580. Does Israel strike back to Iran? Yes, they do. Blow them up. Blow their nuclear plants up. Blow up the oil, even if oil goes up. I was, when Biden took over the presidency, gasoline was 2-something. And we all said it. Everybody said it. Gas is going up. And you saw gas went up to $4 or $5 a gallon. All of a sudden, isn't it funny? Right before election season, gas is back down. I was buying gas. I couldn't believe it. Usually I pay $70 for my tank. Now I'm paying $30 or $40. Isn't it funny that gasoline went down? He's releasing the oil reserves. He's releasing the reserves. What happened? You can't do that. But I'll tell you why he's doing it, to show that he's doing better, but he has no right to. President Trump said, listen, I can buy oil so cheap, the way he made it so cheap, that I'll overbuy it, that they'll give it to me. That's what Trump did. Biden lowered the prices now to make it look better for us. But it's funny that gasoline was up, inflation was up, and now all of a sudden the prices come down before election time. Same way we have with our Simcha Felder, my competitor. There's no parties when he's not running or it's not election year. When it's election year, you're going to see on the holiday weekend of Sukkot, we're going to have a big free event. And where's the money coming from? Not from his pocket, from the state pocket, which is my taxes. And I'm happy that they're going to be helping the people who can't go away with their kids to an amusement park and stuff and give them a free event. And I'm going to try to be part of it and help out with it. But it's funny that money shows up around election time. There's no money for hurricane in Florida. You believe it? There's no money for the hurricanes. They ran out of money, the feds. You saw the newspapers and the ads. There's no money. All of a sudden, we spent $1 billion on Ukraine. $1 billion, and that's what this feds were saying. We spent over $1.4 billion on the migrants. Now, you have no money left. For who don't you have money left? For the Americans, for the homeowners, for the people. They don't even know how to spend the money. I don't care about the federal government. I really don't. I really, really don't. I care about New York City. And all of a sudden, May Adams, who's in trouble, says we're going to close down one of the biggest migrant centers, the migrant shelters. Why? Because there's less migrants coming in. My question to you is, I understand there's only 700 this month that came in instead of the thousands. Where are you going to put these migrants? They don't have jobs or apartments or homes yet. You're closing the shelter. Where you're sending them? I'm not sure. Did they all find homes already? Did you all rent apartments? I know that it's so hard to rent an apartment in the city, especially even if you have good credit. These guys have zero credit. I want to just explain to you what politics is all about. Every year on 13th Avenue, and I was told not to make a hassle about it, but I'm going to. Every year on 13th Avenue, my neighborhood, one of the big avenues, we have something called like a flea market. But it's a flea market for the Jewish esrog and lulav. It's a palm with a little lemon, a different kind of a lemon. And it's a special holy thing that we take to the synagogue. We shake it, we pray with it, just like the Christians do on Palm Sunday with some kind of a palm or leaf. We do it on the Sukkot holiday. And they can sell, if they come from Israel or Italy or different countries, specially grown, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 if they're perfect. A lot of them are not super perfect, but they're all kosher to be used as prayer items. So these items, the younger crowd buys a bunch of them, and they set up little tables like a street fair, and they allow you to come, and they sell it to you for $30, $20 a whole set with all the additions to it, the holders and all that. And right before the holiday, they go down in price $10 or $5 because it can't be used after the holiday. It goes dead. So we have a street fair that people can come, and people who are a little broke or tight with money, we come the last minute, we try to buy the cheaper product. I go out there and try to buy like 10 or 12 sets right before the holiday starts because I have people in jail or some poor people who can't afford it. So I buy a bunch of them and hand it out. And I get it from these vendors. And they came to me. And they said the city is shutting them down. They're cutting their tables. You know, they block up space. They take the poles and they tie their tables so they can have a location. And this community board, our community rotten board of Barry Spitzer and Yidel Pearlstein and Penny Ringel, they cut their chain. They made the sanitation. These good men cut the change and steal the tables. They said they're hurting the store owners. I spoke to 30 store owners. Not one of them. They said it's good for business. Thousands of people in addition come to our avenue and they buy the food, they buy a dress, they buy something, they keep it busy. These community boards says, they're blocking the streets. Streets are made to be blocked to walk up and down and go shopping, especially when store owners are paying $30,000, $20,000 a month rent, $10,000. You want more traffic. They shut up. So I made a whole big deal. I started doing backdoor politics. And finally, Barry Spitzer says, after the Rosh Hashanah holiday, will allow you to start selling again because you blocked up the sidewalk 2 months in advance. They didn't block up the sidewalk. They changed the table to the pole and they folded it to the side. It wasn't hurting anybody. Why don't they handle the triple parking cars? Why are they having people giving tickets when there's no place to park? They shut down. The community board shut down. I must want you to know in Borough Park, 32 blocks. We have, I don't know, maybe what is it, from 39th Street to 60-something streets. We have 22 blocks with 10 avenues. So we have about 300 blocks. They shut down 10%, not just one area. You have to go around areas. It takes you an hour now to drive. One block of people on 40th Street called me that they were shut down without warning, without permit. And they said, well, the city sent us. I said, what? He shows me an ID. I said, this is not an ID. I have the same ID. I said, I'm also an inspector. You don't work for the city. You're an independent contractor that they hired, and you're an inspector for your company. And you got your certificate from the DDC or the DOP or the DOT, just like I got from the FDNY or the DOB. And you can't do anything about it. And I was going to shut them down. And finally, the block people said, well, we made a deal, one side of the street, the other side of the street, and they leave holes in the ground. They do whatever they want. I believe they're putting cameras in there to listen to every single block. There's no way that you shut down 32 blocks and putting in the green new piping all over the place. It's not possible. Again, conspiracy, Heshy just talks and whatever it is. It just does. Some things don't make sense. You do one block at a time, 2 blocks at a time. I know you want to keep a lot of workers working, but some of those workers told me they're only part-time workers or they were temporarily hired on because of this big contract. So what difference does it make if the contract ends in 3 weeks or ends in 6 months? You hire a little less workers. You have the same kind of job. You have the same kind of total price. You don't have to make the people of the city suffer. They don't care. Right now, I want to give you a list of how many of the people, of the mayor's people, have resigned. It's very funny. You're going to love it. A guy by the name of, as you know, James Edward Caban, the police commissioner, David Phillip and Terrence Banks, Sheena Wright, Liz Zorbingum, I don't know what her name is, Ashel Vassan, Winnie Greco, Rana Abbasov, and yesterday they had from the Muslim guy, the Muslim deputy mayor, arrested. Something is wrong. So you're going to say, well, the mayor is not corrupt. It's all his people. The buck stops with the mayor. He's the boss. He should know what's going on. I'm the boss. I can't do every job in my place, but I know what's going on. I walk around. I listen in. I speak to the people. I get updates. The mayor's supposed to get updates. Everybody's screaming, well, the president of the United States, President Trump, he doesn't read his memos. He waits till them come memos and decisions. And look what kind of a great job he was. He micromanaged. He didn't have to read all those documents and sign it. He gets them before him, the report. He does a quick review. He can't read every word. Just like your city council and legislation, they only vote on a little blurb. They don't even read the law. And that's how they do it. And that's why Trump is so great. He knows how to make decisions. It's not just understanding the law. He understands the system. Like me, you understand the system. You know how to make a decision. There's a deputy chief by the name of a deputy mayor by the name of, what's his name again? Shapiro. A very bad man. A very bad man. He threatened me that he was going to go against me, and he's the only one yet who hasn't been arrested or thrown out. He actually told an organization that he will send the DOB after them, Department of Health, and go after them if they don't vote for somebody. That's called electioneering. And that's my point with the mayor. You allow your people to be corrupt, to mix into other elections where you have your own problem. You have no right to do that. You want to endorse somebody. But to threaten to get votes, that is more illegal. That is very illegal. Mr. Shapiro, Deputy Chief of Staff and Senior Advisor to the Mayor. Very bad man. Very bad man. This is what he looks like. I know you might not be able to see it, but this is what he looks like. A very bad man. The FBI thwarted Election Day terror attack in the name of ISIS. So we see they're coming after us. How good is we haven't had any major terror attacks in New York City or really in the United States in a couple of years. Israel has it all the time. Other countries have it. So we're very good at what we do. And still the president almost got killed. That's a conspiracy. But look how cool Trump was. He went back to Pennsylvania, Butler, Pennsylvania, and he stood there and did it, and he made another rally. But here's my point to you. When the president this week came to a place called the Ohel, where the Lubavitcher Rebbe, a holy rabbi, is buried. And a lot of people go there to pray, and they say the rabbi is coming back to life. He's going to be Messiah. But if you go to his grave, you can pray, and he does for you. And a lot of the politicians go there to pray. Even the non-Jews go there to pray by the grave and ask for help with their elections or with life or getting better or ask for prayers. President Trump came. There was no fear of attacks, no fear of assassinations. Even though the Secret Service was there, we know how to protect our neighborhoods. We know we're not killing the president. We know how to look and see what's going on. There was nothing. You should have seen. They came one day, everything set up, good to go. The president knew that he was in the safest part of the world, in a cemetery surrounded by Jews. There was no, and he had a nice crowd. Nobody left early, his rally. So I don't know what Harris is saying that people leave early, Trump's thing. Thank you, President Trump. I wish I could have come again. I missed you again. I don't know how I'm ever going to bump into you. But the FBI arrested an Afghan national for co-conspiracy for plotting an election day terror attack in the name of ISIS. How did they know that? How could they know that? Do you think that everybody's just stupid? They go on the internet before they plan an attack and they tell the world something is going on. Something is going on just to make them stupid. And remember a couple of weeks ago when one of these idiots who was a protester went and defamed a monument. He's a Virginia man that was arrested Friday on charges that he spray painted graffiti on a monument in the nation's capital during a protest against Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. His name is Zaid Mohammed Mawadi, 26. Richmond, Virginia. Do you think he should get off the hook? They're going to say, oh, he's too young, he's stupid. I don't even know how they caught him. Thank God they caught him. Thank God they caught him. Now let's talk about New York City. Let's talk about it. A train conductor was stabbed over a dozen times because when he gets to the last stop, he was throwing people off the train. We have gang members beating up our ex-governor and his stepson, beating him up just on the street. And there were 12 and 13-year-olds and a 40-year-old man and a 30-year-old woman. And I'll keep going. I'll talk about the 3 shootings that I know about, robberies like you've never seen before, but you know where our police are being located to traffic, to giving tickets, to pulling people over, to getting involved in civil matters where they do not belong. If HPD or DOB cannot handle their issues, don't get involved. Let them go to court. Let them get us warrants. Just like we have to evict people, we have to get warrants. And you know what? We can't even evict the people for 2 years because we have to go to the marshals that are busy making private money towing our cars. So they're too busy to help us with our homes. And that's why we hired them, not to make a profit, but to help us citizens. I'm going to stop that. I'm stopping that, sheriffs. I want to ask you a question. Are they saying a third of New Yorkers from the Marist poll say that Adams should resign? I don't think so. If he knows his job, he should be able to deal with pressure. All of us, not me, I'm not a politician, but all of us people who are in high-profile jobs or have a lot of problems on our heads, we have to deal with pressure every single day. I deal with from the minute I get up at 4:30, I get an hour and a half off to prepare myself, watch the TV, check the news out, and then get out of the house by 6 for prayers and volunteer work, and I'm on the go till 10 o'clock at night, 11 o'clock at night. You think we have? I get an hour off here. I took today. Me and Linda. I didn't have a secretary. Linda took over the phones. Very cool. And afterwards, I promised her sushi dinner. Instead, we just went out for falafel. So we took off a half an hour. But we're under pressure because we had to eat quickly, and that's what goes on. Everybody's under pressure. Everybody in their life is under pressure. The mayor took a job on that he knew that would be under pressure. The mayor doesn't have to resign. If the mayor can't deal with the problems, he should resign. So far, so good. I'm not a mayor fan anymore, but I am a mayor that I believe in innocence till proven guilty. I believe the feds are setting him up. I believe he did nothing wrong. But yes, his whole team did something bad. So that alone is his responsibility. And if he had to resign, he had to resign because his staff was a bunch of idiots and he didn't watch them and he let them get corrupt. And you know what? Why he should be punished? Because God forbid Cuomo might come back. You believe it? Cuomo might actually come back to run. The worst governor, a man who's a pig, a man who has abused women. I understand that you flirt with somebody. I understand that. They're saying to me, somebody says, when you get into politics, there's always sex involved. I don't know. I know that I'm loyal to my wife all these years. I've been backdoor politics. I've had big parties I've gone to, little parties. You know, I heard a big movie star says, you know why I'm not in trouble like P. Diddy? I go home at night. I go to a party or a wedding or so on, and I go all the time to all of these. You got to go home at night. You have to know who's at home at night, whether you're happy or not or get divorced. But you got to go home at night to stay out of trouble. Mr. P. Diddy, the great rapper, the great tough guy, sex trafficking, drugging women, open sex parties. The man is a lowlife. He's in jail now, Mr. Gangster. He's in hiding because they want to beat him up. Mr. Gangster. With all his millions of dollars and charity work. He did it because it's tax deductible, guys, and he's told to do that. Jumaane Williams, if the mayor does resign, will be our next mayor. Now I'm telling you, it's time to leave the city. Jumaane Williams is an incompetent fool, and if you look at his college grades, they were terrible. Now, I'm not blaming because I wasn't that much better. I only had a 3.64 average when I was in school, so I wasn't the 4.0, but Jumaane Williams is an idiot completely. Okay, anybody can go to college and graduate. You go to college, if you just put in the time, you can graduate. And with that bachelor's degree, you can get a decent job. That's all Jumaane Williams had. He never had any regular jobs. I don't know how he thinks he knows how to do budgets. He's an incompetent fool, and you're going to make him mayor. Oh, God. Oh, God. I want you to know that I know that I've spoken to so many people who are in city council. They really don't know how to do budgets. They don't know how to run their own staff. For example, Lester Chang, our assemblyman, he actually doesn't know how to run a budget. He claims he takes from his own salary to pay his employees. He doesn't know how to hire. They don't know how to run their own office staff on their own budget. Today I was having a fight with my son. I said, Yaakov, you can't just go over budget $20, $30, $40. Oh, it's only $244 this month. I said, and if your dad is not around to cover it, what are you going to do then? You have to learn how to budget. You have to learn how to save. You have to know what your budgets are. Everybody can go into debt. It's not hard. I know what it is. I've been in debt. I know what it is when you have no job or money. I got it. But if you're given a salary and a budget, you got to work within it. Or you got to learn how to prepare yourself for the future. And a lot of our people in city council don't know what a budget is. Our people in the federal government adding on another $1 trillion or $2 trillion. You're talking Kathy Hochul with the Green Deal. Harris, I'm going to make the Green Deal happen. What does that mean? You can't just make it happen. You're talking about climate control. People are telling you, thousands of scientists are telling you it's not true. And thousands are telling you it's true. But you and I are here. Now, I believe that we have to be prepared for the future and our children. Don't get me wrong. I raise them. I want my children to have a better life. And you see we have a better life. You never had such a good life in the 5,000 years the world that I know is old, or the billions of years. This is the best time. We have everything we want. We have indoor bathrooms. People don't even appreciate what that is. We have heating. We have air conditioning. We have cars. We can do whatever we want. We can fly. We can internet. We can talk to people when you used to have to write a letter or your phone calls were $8 a minute. Today it's free almost. The world is a better place. We need to be able to know how to use our time now. You're so worried about 100 years from now, so if I'm suffering now, I don't get to enjoy it. My kids get to enjoy it. That's not the way it works. We have to enjoy it, make the world better, and hand them over the experiences that we have, how to use the technology. Anyways, the Canada opposition leader to Trudeau he said very simple. He said, Israel's strike on Iran would be a gift to humanity. This is a tyrannical, whatever you want to say, regime who tortures its own people, who pushes their religion on other people. I mean, you should see the pictures of the beautiful Iranian women of the 50s, 60s, and 70s, and today you can't see them. And it's not like they don't want to be religious. If you want to be religious, I see so many of the Muslim women here, they cover themselves up. They're allowed to do whatever they want here. And the ones that don't want to, don't have to. Over there, they get punished. They get put in jail. They get beaten. They get whipped. You can't do that. This is not the old world. You want to follow the Bible, the Torah, whatever it is, that's fine. When Muhammad comes or Jesus comes back or Moses or the Messiah, we'll have to follow their rules. God sent them. But till then, we are given our own free will. We should have the right to run our lives any way you want. Now, I know I'm talking now like an atheist. It goes on. I'm not talking like an atheist. God has given us the free will to test us, He punishes us, he makes us stronger, and he makes us ready for the next section. And I don't get me wrong, I've been depressed that so many bad things has happened to me, even though I don't deserve it. But then I learned that that's what God wants. God wants me to learn to use my free will to do better, to be able to help more people. I'm not happy sometimes with the lessons that God gives me, but my children are not happy either sometimes with the lessons I give them. You can't just let a child run around free and deciding how he's going to raise his life. You have to give him direction. You have to show him. When he's old enough, he can decide for himself what he wants to do. Let me see if I have any comments. And you're right. You're right, Natasha. There is no jobs when you leave college. So and I teach this to my children and the foster kids and a lot of people. You're going to college, you have 3 or 4 years to start working on now. You don't have to know your major. Start preparing or looking for jobs early. Do internships. Struggle. My nephew, I told him to do that, and look, when he came out, he got a crappy job for 40 grand, but he's building himself up 2 years later. I did it with my other son. My son while he was going to college, was working for me. He got paid $300 a week. Then I promoted him to 4, then I gave him a raise to 5, and by the time he finished college, he was making $75,000 a year. He learned so well that 5 years later, he went and opened up his own company. You have to be able to be ready, prepared for the future. You can't just pop out and think we're going to give you something. This world is not a place for freebies. You want a freebie and sit at home? That's so nice of you. You want to make a better life for yourself, you have to be able to jump. If you're not going to jump and just stand there, if you're just going to dream without actually trying to do something, dreams don't just come true by themselves. You have to make it happen. You have to have a dream and you have to have a goal to get there. The UNRWA, likely they misused over $1 billion in humanitarian aid that was sent to Gaza since October of 2023. Since October of last year, they got $1 billion. The Biden-Harris administration has prolonged the Gaza war. They allowed this aid to flow to Israel's enemies, and they misused our tax dollars. Now, I understand if we have the extra money, you can give it to them. Here's my problem. You don't have money for the migrants because you used it up. You don't have money for the people in the hurricanes because you used it up with Gaza and Ukraine. You have no money for the hungry in the Midwest. You have no money for people that are homeless. I mean, you don't know how to budget your money. And we sit here and we let the leftists take control of our lives. Biden was a fool. Yes, he was there for 47 years. Maybe he had more experience. But here's Harris. She hasn't come up with any new ideas. She hasn't taken responsibility of what her administration is. I'm going to do different things. Why didn't you do it till now? And what are you doing? Did anybody really hear her platform, Harris's platform? Any ideas how to make changes? Any ideas how to manage the budget or come up with a new budget or come up with ideas or discuss programs in the budget? Did she even discuss the border? I don't know. You guys believe that she's okay? That's fine. By the way, the place where the mayor is closing down the biggest migrant shelter is called Randall's Island. They're on Randall's Island away. There's no reason to close the shelter, but you're opening up shelters in our neighborhoods, in our backyards. The shelter, I agree the shelter of Randall Island should be open. I agree a shelter should be opened on First Avenue in those commercial warehouses. I believe you can make it better for them. Now you're going to close them up. They have nowhere to go. You're going to put them in shelters in our backyards and make our economy low. Look at their brains that our politicians have. Zero. What's my next subject? They're saying that Trump has gained a slim lead in Michigan, and the battleground polls find that lawmakers vow to fight Trump if he restores the base names, Confederate base names. Really, That's what you're worried about, that Trump is going to bring back Confederate names. He has so much to do. When he becomes president, he has so much that he's going to have to prove. He's going to be busy, first of all, stopping 2 wars, the economy that he has to fix up. He has to bring down prices left and right, the stuff that he promised. He has to shut down the border. Now, I don't agree that he should get rid of the migrants. They're here already. Of course, you're going to deport all the criminals, and you have to really vet them, and some of them that are crazy. We have people that are crazy. We have people in Rikers Island that have mental illnesses, and we're locking them up. They belong in mental hospitals. You don't lock them up in Rikers Island in a jail where they bang their heads against the wall. That's wrong. That is wrong. And then you free them. You make them suffer in jail. You free them without taking care of them. And of course they're going to stab a train driver. Of course they're going to rape somebody in the park. Of course they're going to kill their parents or behead a neighbor on the side. I mean, it's only October and we have over 4,000 shootings in New York City. I don't even want to tell you the murder number. Are we crazy? Yeah, I'm sorry. We are crazy. The Supreme Court has declined to take up a challenge by the X-Corp to process which special counsel Jack Smith obtained secret search warrants on Donald Trump's accounts, and called NDOs. Listen to what an NDO is. A non-disclosure order. The government could just make stuff up, come into your house, take your stuff, file orders, go to secret judges. If one judge won't sign it, they go to another judge. Your Constitution basically pretty much gets constantly ripped apart. Our city council has found ways to go around not only the United States Constitution, but our city and state constitution. When somebody doesn't like something, they just sue. We don't like congested pricing. And Hochul went for congestion pricing. Now our governor says, you know what? Let's not do a congestion pricing. This is going on for 12 years. Other governors and so on. Now there's an organization of people that want congestion pricing. So they're suing to get it back. There's something wrong with that. Why would regular citizens want us to pay more tolls? Something's up. Something's very, very up. And that's the way it works in this country. That's the way it works in this city. That's the way it works with these leftist Democrats. I'm ashamed to tell you that I'm a Democrat. You're right, I switched to a Republican, but I'm ashamed because the Democratic idea, the Democratic Party was founded to help the people, not just help the poor and make the leftists and make things go away. It was made to help the people. It was really a great party. Growing up in the 60s and 70s, to be a Democrat was a tough thing, but it was great. It was after Tammany Hall and the corruption that happened in New York City, they finally cleaned their act up. And we got a powerful city that was able to, even though we had corruption throughout the time, but we had so many good organizations, so many good mayors. And we had some good times. We built back a city that was burnt down in the 70s, in the 1800s, burnt to the ground. We came back we started our sanitation unit in the 1900s, cleaning up the streets. We were one of the first innovators of making changes in the big city. We have Wall Street, the most powerful, with trillions of dollars. Why can't we bring in Amazon? Why can't we bring in Google? Why can't we bring in more business and lower the taxes and lower the property taxes? Bring in new income. That's what a business is. That's what the city is. That's what we hire the politicians for. Not to control our lives, but to make our lives better. To bring in more business, to make our city successful. We're all competent adults. We're all in our 50s, 60s, 70s, 30s. We're grown-ups. Our parents have taught us how to run our lives. And you're telling me that we're not competent and you treat us like little children? I was in I told you I had a inspection, and the chief inspector says, well, we believe you're going to do something illegal. I said, look, here's the building, here's the plans. We want you to change it to stop you in case you might do something illegal. My son is building a house in Passaic, New Jersey. He's leaving. He's out of here, and I'm helping him. And the inspector there some stupid examiner who had nothing to do in the field, just was a prejudiced guy, and he picked my son as a guinea pig. And he says, you can't have a door here because you might use this door and make a room out of it and make an extra bedroom. My son says, no, it's just a door to go to the patio. No, we don't want you to have it. And it's like he stopped the whole job over a door. I said to my son, give him the door. When he gave it in, he went with a beam problem. I mean, there are certain people that are out there to cause issues and problems. I told my son, let's just build it. Let's tell him to drop dead. We'll never let him back in. Why would you let him in? If you're building everything by code and rule and everything is approved, we follow the plan. Nobody follows the plan perfect. That is a fact. I know I've worked with thousands of plans and thousands of apartments. Nobody follows the plan to the letter. I want to say goodbye to my fans at WSNR. Thank you for listening to the show. WNEW FM HD3. Thank you for listening to the show. And I forgot to welcome the WPVIB. Next week is the holiday of Sukkot, where I know I won't be invited to the politician's sukkah. If you're not Jewish, you can go. If you're Jewish, you're not allowed to go to the politician's sukkah. Do you believe it? I know it. But either way, I want to wish you a happy, easy fast and Yom Kippur to my Jewish listeners. And I want you to have a beautiful sukkah. My sukkah is going to be open. And I'm going to be off next Wednesday and the following Wednesday because of the Jewish holidays. We can't have the show, but I'm going to welcome you back on October the 30th. So come on back, join me back, listen back, and I'm going to have a lot of more ideas to tell you and think about for my show. Thank you for listening. To the rest of my viewers, for the last few minutes we're going to be on the show, you should call into the show, 646-974-1580. But I don't know if the producer's around to pick up phone calls, but who cares? I'm still here to talking and telling you about what my heart believes in. November 5th is coming. We're less than 30 days away. I know you Democrat New Yorkers are blue. In the blue state, we're not a red state. Wouldn't it be so cool? Because Ronald Reagan carried New York. Wouldn't it be so cool that New York went red? Not that I want you to become Republicans. I just want you to vote red for Trump this time. I want you to see, hey, if you're not happy in 2 years, all you have to do is you don't have to vote Trump out because anyway he has term limits. You just change the Senate and the Congress. And then Trump is dead anyways. He becomes a lame duck president. And they can override him. They can even impeach him again. Lenny. I do bump into Lenny. He did some security at one of my properties, and I recommended him. He's in Bushwick. Lenny is, when it comes time for election, a lot of the politicians and police get nervous, and I think they're a little bit more scared of me. They're not sure which way I'm going to go. They can't really support me because if they do so, they could look like fools. So, I don't know. I hope they support me. I hope they come through and support me. And if I win, you're going to see them come running. So they're being careful right now. And Lenny knows he can always call into the show. I guess he got insulted once because we hung up on him too early and he talks a lot. I love when Lenny talks to me. I talk to him sometimes every morning, and it's like I enjoy listening to him. He always sends me texts. Lenny, I miss you. I wish you listened to the show more often. But I know you're busy working and I know you have hard, long days. And Lenny's a retired cop who even works to this day. He gets up and he's on his job already at 7 o'clock. That is a responsible man. That is a man, if you tell him to be somewhere, I had to have him on a particular job site for protection, and I told him I'm going to be there at 7:30. He says, "As she comes 6:30, I'm here." I said, "No, you're not." And I really did have to come early, and he was sitting right there in front with another guy. If he tells you he's going to be somewhere, Lenny's one of the most responsible persons. Lenny, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being my friend. And all you listeners out in land. I'm coming back October 30th, and then the following week is election. Think hard. Meditate. I don't know the word. Be sure who you're going to vote for. And go vote. Go vote. We need you to vote. We need you to make a change. I am going to be running as an independent, and I'm not happy, even though I am a Republican. Not because I believe in the Republican ideals. I believe that we needed a change, and I thought the Republican Party was ready for the change. But again, even in my own Republican local party, they're corrupt. They're corrupt. They vote to Wilson Pakula means they bring in Democrats so they can make some petty money when they could do bigger. They don't see the big picture. They don't know how to add. Oh, you're going to say, Heshy, you're going against the establishment. What else should I do? The establishment is wrong. Give in? I don't give in. I don't give in. I fight. I fight today. I fight the city agencies. I fight the judges, and they respect me because I know and I study and I know the rules. And they know they're wrong. I had a lady who wanted, had leases. And the city calls me up, some lawyer calls me up. He says, Heshy, you have to give them an option of what year lease, 1 or 2 year lease. I said, what do you mean? My building, I can tell you I'm only giving you a 1 year lease. No, you have to give them you have to give them an option because the rent control board says that if for 1 year it's this price, for 2 years it's this price. You have to let them choose. I said, I have to let them choose. 1 year lease is this amount of money. 2 year lease is this amount of money. I have to let my tenant tell me how to run a building. Tell me when he's going to pay me rent. And some of them don't even, who are behind in rent, I have to give them a new lease while I'm taking them to court. It doesn't make sense. Renewing a lease, and then when the judge sees the new lease, he says, well, you gave him a new lease, you have to make a deal. I said, but I'm waiting 2 years, and if I make a deal and they break their payment agreement deal, to come back to court, it's another 2 years. They're very smart. They know the game. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my